Hey, here we go. Did you know it's the 10th season? The Rockies have had spring training at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. That went by fast. Today, it's Game 11 of the 2021 Cactus League season for Colorado. And the Rockies at home in Scottsdale, hosting the Cubs. Chicago makes the short trip north from Sloan Park in Mesa. Hi again, baseball fans. Mark Stout. I'm way up north here in our Denver studios. I'll be watching the game from here like you will be at home on TV. Today's starters, the Rockies are going to send to the Hill an offseason signee, Derek Rodriguez. You may remember him from the Giants. He's a righty. He's going to face veteran righty Kyle Hendricks, who is 69 and 48 in his 7-year career, all with the Cubs. With more on the Rockies' arms and the potential rotation this year, we get you down to Arizona. Let's say hello again to Drew Goodman and Ryan Spilberg. Guys?
All right, Mark, thanks very much. You know what's fascinating about this year's version of the Rockies? So frequently throughout their history, you talk about offense first, and you say the strength of the team is going to be offense. Well, the last couple of years, it has transitioned to the strength of the club is their rotation. I think the same thing could be said for this version of the Rockies.
There's no question. And even talking to the position players, they recognize that you have a starting rotation manned by German Marquez. You have Kyle Freeland, Austin Gomber, who we saw yesterday, John Gray, Antonio Senzatella, who's still dealing with the hamstring. But for the Rockies, beyond just these five, it requires depth. And we're talking Ryan Castellani. You're looking at guys like Derek Rodriguez. It is so important for the Rockies over the course of this year to have the next guy step up and not have a large discrepancy between the talent level of the front five to the next five. And I think the Rockies have done a really good job of creating that depth, which becomes a strength for them.
And one of the guys that's coming, we won't see him today, but you'll see him at some point during the spring, is a former #1 in Ryan Rollison. More on him a little bit further down the road. There is another new Rocky, kind of a late signing during the winter that I'm very intrigued about that we will see today, and that is veteran first baseman C.J. Cron.
Yeah, I think it's important for the Rockies to find some depth in the lineup, too, some power. That's something that they've been lacking, and it's going to be a lack without Nolan. But here's a guy in C.J. Cron, if he comes back and he's healthy. Last year was an injury for him with Detroit, but he hit 30 home runs 3 years ago with Tampa Bay, 29 with the Minnesota Twins, rakes left-handed hitters pitching. So the power's there. We just want to see if he's healthy.
Yeah, and in his last start, he absolutely mashed the baseball. So we'll see C.J. Cron today. Looking forward to that. Toppy is in the lineup. Hampson's in the lineup. Going to be fun when we return to Salt River Fields. But for now, we go back to Denver. Here's Mark Stout again.
All right, Drew, Spilly, you know who else is in the lineup today? Josh Fuentes. And I think he finally feels like he belongs. I know this year he's going to have his own identity at least. More on the man who wears number 8. That's next as we get you ready for Cubs Rockies spring training action. Have another home Cactus League contest today. It's the first of 2 spring meetings against the Cubs. It's Josh Fuentes. Let's talk about Josh. Hey there, it's Mark Stout. I think you know that Josh Fuentes is a fighter. Guy was an all-star in Little League once. Rockies signed him as an undrafted free agent in 2014, made it to the bigs. Impressive last season at first, across the diamond from his famous relative with the name Arenado. I think Bud Black has him in his plans for 2021. Here's why.
I think, Josh, I think his identity now is his own. He's not Nolan's cousin as it relates to the Rockies. He's Josh Fuentes of the Rockies. He's gotten better, and he's done it through hard work. I mean, this guy is a tremendous worker, but he's got passion and work ethic. And when that happens, you usually end up getting better because you put the time in, and there's a will in there to succeed, and Josh has that.
Fuentes actually told the media this week he thought about quitting in low A when he was playing once a week, and he was 3 years older than everybody else. He's playing today. Toppy is playing today. Hampson's playing today. First pitch comes your way next. Kind of hit me that 3 weeks from today, it's opening day at Coors Field. But we have another spring training game to show you today. Let's go down to Scottsdale. Here's Drew and Spilly, guys.
Mark, thanks very much. We are set to go as something's got to give here. Bold implications in this one, Spilly, because the Rockies are 6-3-1 and the Cubs are 6-3-1.
It's a fight for the spring training Cactus League title. But it's a little early, though.
It is early, and right now, speaking of such, Kansas City has the best record in the Cactus League at 8-3. So Derek Rodriguez is quickly ahead 0-2 on Ian Happ, the former #1 pick out of the University of Cincinnati, which makes him a Bearcat. And you see the numbers so far in spring training on Pudge's son, who had some bright moments in a Giants uniform. Mark was talking about that a few moments back. And he's trying to, as you talked about also earlier, trying to add some depth to that Rockies rotation. And this ball is toward the gap in right center field, and it's going to be cut off there nicely by Sam Hilliard. He's playing center this afternoon, and the long strider got there. So Happ is retired, and that'll bring up the catcher Wilson Contreras. There's C.J. Cron as we talk defense for a moment for the Rockies. He's over at first base. He's a solid defender. He'll be joined by Garrett Hampson in the infield at second, Chris Owings at short, and Josh Fuentes is at third. Dom Nunez doing the catching today. Tapia, the aforementioned Hilliard, and Jonathan Daza in right field. And the Rockies want positional versatility also. And even among their outfielders, you know, Hilliard can play all three spots. Daza can play all three spots. Tapia can play all three spots. Hampson is at second. Maybe the best center fielder on the roster. And Daza is an outstanding center fielder as well. So positional versatility is so important in today's game. That's just off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike on Contreras. One of the better offensive catchers in baseball.
Well, the Cubs have done some interesting things in the offseason, not re-signing Kyle Schwarber, not re-signing John Lester. They've been in this little place, a bit, I would call it limbo, you know, baseball limbo, because they won the division last year, but they have players like Contreras that are valuable. They have players that might be a free agent next year, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo as well.
You know, Rizzo, 3/4 of their infield, and all huge names. You're talking about Rizzo, Bryant, and Javi Baez, all pending free agents at the end of this campaign. The Rockies, everyone knows, has a significant player who will be a free agent at the conclusion of the season as well, and Trevor Story. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Contreras. Kind of in that section of the spring, Spilly, where as a hitter you figure you may get 2 at-bats against the starter, because the starters now are going 3, potentially 4, depending on pitch count. I think we'll see Rodriguez for 3 today.
Nothing in the middle portion of the plate so far from Derek, which is good to see. Little 2-seam fastball inside. He can cut it on the outside portion of the plate to righties. Good feel for speeding up and slowing down the hitter.
Here's another 2-2. And that was an off-speed pitch, just a tad bit high. 3-2. I'm always reminded with Derek Rodriguez of, you know, his father, who was, you know, one of the all-time great catchers, and a story that Jeff Hewson has told several times on the air. Huey will be with us later in the weekend. And when he was playing shortstop in Texas and Pudge was behind the plate, he said it was the only time in his career he got handcuffed by a throw from a catcher. Think about it, on a stolen base. It's 128 feet throw. And it literally came at him so hard, he said he got handcuffed in trying to make the catch. Only time that ever happened in his 12 years in the big leagues. That's how strong an arm Pudge had. So here's Anthony Rizzo. He's famous for being an outstanding first baseman and such a productive hitter, and maybe most famous for standing right on top of the plate and not moving.
Reminds me of Brad Hopp, former Rocky, used to stand right on top of the plate as well.
If you come inside, he's going to wear it. 2-0 on Rizzo.
I was never one to stand close to the plate. I was too scared of the baseball. So I like to be as far away from it as the plate as possible.
Rockies have a spring shift on. 3 on the right side for Rizzo. Here's the 2-0. And now 3-0 after the walk to Contreras. Former big leaguer admits, I was afraid of the baseball. The Ryan Spilborg story.
It's true. No shame in admitting that.
He went up to the plate cowering. Ooh, that's not close. So back-to-back walks, and Dom Nunez would go out as Chris Bryant is approaching the plate. Let's take a look at the Cubs lineup this afternoon. They have brought along from North Mesa, a number of starters. You know, Hap's going to be their everyday center fielder. Contreras naturally will be behind the plate. Rizzo, Bryant, Jock Peterson, who's on deck from Los Angeles. So strange to see him out of a Dodger uniform. Baez, Cameron Maybin, who you'd think would figure in as an extra outfielder. David Bodie, the Colorado kid, who's going to be involved in numerous capacities for the Cubs, as he has been the last few years. And Nico Horner, who's had a great spring. Former #1 pick. There's a strike. And Rossi, David Ross, there's David in his second year as the manager, making the quick transition, Spilly, from his playing days to now being on the top step of the dugout. Good man.
It's a great man.
Yeah. Going to be not going to be, because he's already been doing this, but he is like Buddy, a player's manager.
Well, certain backgrounds, when you're in the game as a catcher, you see the game different. You know how to interact with pitchers. Managers are great communicators. That's first and foremost. That's what you're supposed to do. And catchers traditionally are great communicators.
This is off the end of the bat toward the corner, and it's going to drop down in fair territory. Rizzo will follow Contreras toward the plate, and the throw's not going to get him, so it's a 2-run double off the bat of Chris Bryant. He just hit it in the right spot. He's out front.
Yeah, he's out in front. A little cut fastball. It goes right back over the middle portion of the plate. And because of the location and because of Bryant's swing, because he had a nice 2-0 count to swing on, he got the bat head out in front.
And now with 1 out, Jock Peterson will come up.
Well, he's had a good camp so far for the Cubs. It's looking like he's leaving off where he was last year in the playoffs for the Dodgers. 3 home runs so far for Jock.
He had a number of opportunities to sign with various teams in the big leagues, and he chose the Cubs, and these are his words, because he wanted an opportunity to be an everyday player, not a platoon player as he was with LA. And David Ross has said he's going to give him every opportunity to play against lefties. So their outfield, at least initially, and you can afford not to have a super fleet outfield if you play half your games at Wrigley Field. But, you know, Jock, who originally played some center field, he'll be in left most days. Ian Happ, who's probably better suited, honestly, for a corner, will play center field. And they have still a great defender in right field, obviously, in Jason Hayward. But most days, that'll be the trio in the outfield, it appears, for the Cubs. That's fouled off.
So the Rockies are playing 9 innings today. It was 7 innings yesterday. And if Derek's going to rack up his pitch count, I'm not sure how many pitchers we're going to see today, Drew. Might be a lot.
As we said, he wanted to, in a perfect world, go 3 innings. But you don't want to throw most of your bullets in the first inning. There's Buddy. "14 years now as a skipper. And he's not exhausted all of his one-liners. You have a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Trying to move up is Bryant. He'll slide, pop up, head to the dugout. Good job by Dom Nunez with the block and the quick retrieval of the baseball. That helps out Derek Rodriguez.
So you like these aggressive base running blunders in spring training. You don't want them in the season, especially when you have a rally going. Looked like Bryant caught a little grief from his teammates walking into the dugout.
This ball is well hit down the left field line and is going to get out. That's home run number 4 on the spring for Jock Peterson. Well, I guess when you talk about foul pole to foul pole power, which you know Peterson has, that is a great example of it because it was just inside the left field line foul pole. 3-0 Chicago.
He pitches up and he barrels it, but this is not a full swing. It's almost as if he deflected the ball opposite field. Very short 2-strike approach. We've seen some good 2-strike approaches the last 2 days.
So here's Javi Baez. He takes ball 1. He's had a solid spring training as well offensively, looking to erase the memories last year where he struggled with the bat. He's going to line out to end the first inning. A couple of walks, a 2-run double by Chris Bryant, and an opposite field home run for Jock Peterson. Half inning done, 3-0 Chicago. Here's how the Rockies are going to line up this afternoon against the Cubs from spring training at Salt River Fields. Raimel Tapia first. Garrett Hampson will be in that 2 spot. Sam Hilliard's done some nice things so far in the month of March. C.J. Crone, Chris Owings, Josh Fuentes, Colton Welker, who homered yesterday. Dom Nunez will bat 8th, and then Jonathan Daza will bat 9th. Tapia had yesterday off, at least from a game participation standpoint. You guys have a day off. They still get plenty of work in. What'd you do typically on your days off, Billy?
Slept.
Baseball-wise, my friend.
Oh, I'd sat on the bench and chewed sunflower seeds.
Hit in the morning, though, take
Yeah,
some fly balls, that kind of thing?
You hit. You try to get into the training room if you have any lingering injuries or soreness.
Well, they're going to see one of the game's great pitchers. And I emphasize pitchers in Kyle Hendricks because he's never going to overwhelm anybody in his days of triple-digit fastballs. He's going to work in the high 80s with maybe the best changeup in the sport.
He really does have the best changeup in the sport.
And he gets a lot of that. Weak contact on the ground. Tapia rolls over, 1 out.
Well, Kyle's going to be the ace for the Chicago Cubs this year. The Cubs traded Yu Darvish. John Lester's moved on to the Washington Nationals, and Kyle relies so much on his defense with great players in the infield with Rizzo, Horner, Baez, and Bryant. He will pitch to contact.
And there is Javi Baez, who, you know, we just mentioned briefly that Baez struggled with the bat last year. The Cubs did win in the National League Central. They were eliminated by Miami in the postseason. But Baez had his typically gorgeous year defensively. So he didn't take the bat out to the field.
That would be weird.
Yeah, I mean, is there a rule against that?
I don't know.
That's in there for a strike. 0-2 on Hampson. You know, it's a big no-no, Spilly. Did you ever get caught doing this at any point in your career, UCSB, minor leagues, hopefully not the big leagues, where you were working, you know where I'm going with this, where you're kind of, you know, we've seen so many guys do this. In between pitches, that's strike 3 on the curveball. In between pitches, you know, you're working on something offensively, pantomiming out in the outfield. Did you ever do that?
Yes, I have done that before, and it is embarrassing. So Hendricks, 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Wilson Contreras sticks the curveball inside. That's a good morning, good afternoon, good night for Garrett Hampson.
So here's Sam Hilliard with nothing going on, 2 outs. And yesterday, he had a big 2-out single up the middle to drive in a run. I think Sam put a lot of pressure on himself last spring, kind of struggled somewhat in spring training initially. This spring, he's been very sound. That's also in there for a strike.
Watching Hendricks works, it's a throwback. I know people always comp him to Greg Maddux. He's not Greg Maddux, but when you think about both sides of the plate, the changeup, the pace at which he pitches, you can recognize the similarities. For Hendricks, if you ever get a chance to meet Kyle Hendricks, his hands are so big. He has very large hands, which allows him to grab that changeup and really put it within the palm, which gives that discrepancy, that slowdown between the fastball and the changeup.
And Hendricks, so 1-2-3 first, a pair of strikeouts. 3-0 Chicago, back to Salt River Fields at Talking Stick in a moment. Cactus League Spring Training Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Taco Bell. The cheesy phenom has returned. That's Billy. A chalupa show with pepper jack and mozzarella cheeses. It's like you and quesalupa were never apart. Anyway, I can work you into a billboard read, I will.
I like being associated with the cheesy phenom.
Cameron Maben takes low, 2-0. How many times in your life have you been referred to as cheesy or described as cheesy?
A lot.
I know. Maben gets the bat head out, pulls it over the Rockies bullpen and off the wall.
It's good to see Cameron Maben. We've known Cameron now for 16 years. I've known him since he was a bat boy in Asheville.
I meant to ask you about that because that is a fair ball and tough chance for Fuentes. So Maben will reach. That'll be a base hit. But Darren Holmes very close. You know, Holmes now with the Baltimore Orioles organization, but Darren from Asheville, lives in Asheville in the off season, and those two guys are very close.
Well, Cameron has just created so much impact, not just on the field, off the field. This off season with the Players Alliance, there was so many opportunities that they were going into communities and offering help with pandemic supplies. So it's good to see somebody giving back.
There's a base hit the other way. And Maben with the goodwill is going to go first to third, and it was not cut off by Chris Owings. And a good piece of base running by David Bodie, and he moves to second.
Well, we always love seeing Colorado kids do well, just not against the Rockies. Good job of hitting from Bodie, first pitch swinging. This is just an overthrow from Daza, and that can't happen. You cannot allow extra 90 feet, which is what we've been talking about with this Rockies team defensively. You have to tighten up the defense.
Nico Horner takes high. He's had a terrific spring. He's probably been the MVP offensively of the spring for the Cubs thus far.
Why? Because he's hitting .692.
That's a good average. And unfortunately, Derek Rodriguez, a couple of walks already. He's worked behind pretty frequently this first time through the lineup. And now he's got more traffic out there with the Rockies trailing 3-0. Second and third, nobody out. And a 2-0 count on the former Stanford star, Nico Horner. He was in the big leagues last year for the Cubs, Billy, and he got to the highest level of baseball rather quickly, considering in 2018 he was a #1 pick, and 2 years later he's playing quite a bit on the north side.
I've heard the Cubs love his personality. They love his work ethic. They like the at-bat.
He's a good fielder, too. He's a good second baseman defensively. 2-1. Inside out swing, slashed foul. 2-2.
Well, what the Cubs did really well last year is they won the division. Much like the Dodgers and some of the better teams in baseball, they're not going to chase outside the strike zone. They have put together a lineup that traditionally over the last 4 years has not chased.
Three and two. So as much as you love the Gauchos, your hometown school, you had a great career there. If Stanford had offered, you going?
No.
I don't believe you. You're lying once again. 3-2. And this is going to get a run home on the ground to Hampson. 4-0 on the RBI ground out by Horner. Bodie to third. And let's check in Denver with Mark Stout. Mark?
Hey, Drew, it's been a tough start here today for Derek Rodriguez, but he remembers his debut in the big leagues with the long hair. He came in for Jeff Samardzija in a game at Coors Field and actually pitched well at the end of May in 2018. Got into the starting rotation for the Giants and pitched well at Coors Field later in the year, and that's one of the reasons why he signed with the Rockies in the offseason.
Well, I love guys, that welcome a challenge. And I think the guys on the mound that have had success pitching at altitude embrace that challenge, don't fear that challenge. But D-Rod's been off so far today. There's no question about that. 2-0 count now on Ian Happ. Happ hit a fly ball to right center field that was run down by Sam Hilliard to start out the afternoon. Three now.
Well, the Rockies have the infield drawn in. 3-0 count. I expect Ian Happ to let it fly. If you're an infielder, you want to take an extra step back.
Three balls and a strike. the 3-2 is wasted.
I mean, I'm not a fan of taking 3-0. You see Ian Happ is now having a battle just trying to put the ball in play. He had a chance 3-0 to get a sacrifice fly, maybe a base hit.
Is there such thing as a 3-0 take sign in March? And Derek Rodriguez gets a strikeout. Snap throw by Nunez does not get Bodie. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Contreras. First strikeout for Derek Rodriguez.
It's a good pitch, 3-2 changeup. Down and in, got Happ. I like the quick reaction from Dom Nunez too, quickly firing down.
Big swing and a miss. So go back to your playing days, and you can leave these guys nameless unless you want to offer up a name. But I'm assuming that there's some, bona fide sluggers, middle of the order guys who had established themselves that had no idea what certainly the bunt sign was with a club, right? And maybe even the take sign. Go ahead.
There are so many teammates that have no idea what the signs are from the third base coach. They don't even care. The third base coach is a suggestion box if you're good enough.
Oh, boy. Another run for the Cubs. 4-0. They lead middle of 2. We go to the bottom of the second inning from spring training. Cubs up 4-0. The Rockies will have C.J. Cron, Chris Owings, and Josh Fuentes to face the ace of the Cubs, Kyle Hendricks. We're going to go to the Rockies dugout right now and talk to one of our favorite people named McMahon that we know.
Thanks,
Ryan
guys.
McMahon. Well, we didn't want to just, let you get a big head.
Yeah, I
this early
appreciate
in
it.
March, right? Hey,
Yeah,
Ben, man, you doing well? Good winter?
Yeah, good, man. It was quick. It felt like a quick little off season, but glad to be back out here with the boys.
Yesterday you hit a home run and it was to the left of the batter's eye, and we were noticing that the pitch was up, high end velocity up, and you were just so short to the ball. How much have you been working on shortening up the swing and getting to pitches like that?
Oh,
Ouch.
dang. Get that, Crony. Oh boy. Honestly, man, I mean, you guys have seen me, man. That's kind of been a hole in my swing. So, I think that was the whole focus this offseason, and it feels good, to see results early like that and get to a pitch like that. So, but I think that's going to be the focus kind of moving forward, just staying short and, letting the ball go where it goes.
Hey, Ryan, last year, the power's always been there. You hit 9 home runs. I know from an average standpoint, probably from a strikeout standpoint, one was lower than you wanted and one was higher than you wanted. 60 games. A lot will be written and has already been written about the 60 games. Do you just kind of wipe it out of your mind and say, well, it is what it was, but now we're going to play a full 162 and get back to what you're used to as a Major League Baseball player?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to play a full season. Hopefully everything goes well. There's no kinks in the road for any of the MLB teams and stuff like that. But, last year, man, it was crazy. I think, I just kind of wiped it from my memory, and, I'm focused on this year and focusing on helping this team.
Ryan, looking at the infield, it seems like there's still quite a few position battles, and for you as an infielder that's spent some time, how do you look at it? Are you bringing your glove for multiple days, third base, first base, second base? I mean, how do you approach this season for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working at third a lot, still bouncing around at second base and stuff like that. I mean, dude, we have a really good group, a lot of young guys, mixed in with CO and CJ. So, it's been fun. As a group, we've kind of gelled really well together and gotten in a lot of good work. So it's going good so far, and hopefully it continues to keep going well for us.
Third base, for those that don't know, but I think all Rockies fans probably do recall that you were drafted as a third baseman. It's your natural position. Do you feel, and forgive me for asking this, but I know you're going to handle this quite a bit, do you feel any added pressure because of the guy that was playing there prior to you?
I don't. I don't know if I should. Maybe I should be, but I genuinely don't feel it. Nolan was Nolan. he's going to be probably the best third baseman to ever play this game. But, you know, I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to go out there and try to be the best Ryan McMahon I can be. And, you know, whatever happens, happens. But, you know, obviously big shoes to fill, but I don't feel any extra added pressure.
I don't feel like Nolan's feet were that much bigger than yours. So I think you're okay on that.
Yeah, right.
Give me a sense of the rotation. We saw Austin Gomber yesterday. We know what Herman's capable of. So far, what you've seen from the staff?
Dude, a lot of them come in looking really good, man. Obviously, Gomber's been dealing this spring. Marquez is Marquez. Freeland was dominant. I think he only threw like 2 of his pitches anyway. This time. But, you know, they're all in a great spot right now, man, and it's been fun and exciting to watch.
One of the things from afar, Ryan, that I've really taken note of, and I know it's the time of year that everybody's optimistic, and you guys just a couple of years ago finished in a dead heat with the Dodgers after 162 games. Last year got off to a great start, didn't finish well. We know about that. 2019 was a tough year, but the prognosticators don't have the Rockies as one of the better teams in baseball. And yet, it seems to a man, with veterans like yourself, Kyle Freeland, kind of been outspoken saying, hey, we're going to surprise some people, and you're almost using that as fuel, the old chip on the shoulders. Is that what you've noticed so far?
Oh, definitely, man. I think this group, just as a whole, we're a bunch of grinders. We show up to work, we play our butts off. You know, we're going to play some hard-nosed baseball. And you know, there's a reason you play the games, right? If it was always just on paper and stuff like that, then, you know, whatever. But there's a reason you go out there and play the games, because anybody can beat anybody on any given day. So we're going to show up every day. We're going to play some good baseball, and, you know, whatever happens, happens.
Have you gotten used to seeing fans back in the stands yet? In about 2 weeks, you're going to get a chance to play in front of 20,000 at Coors Field, which is still not capacity, but we're getting closer. What has it been like for you after a year where you missed out on feeling the energy?
It's been so nice, man. Just even this in spring training, you know, like getting half capacity like this, it's been great. And, you know, to know that we're heading to Denver and we're going to get almost, I mean, it's about half, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's going to be awesome, man. For opening day against the Dodgers, it'll be a real treat for us, and I know we're all excited. Oh, do it.
That has a chance to get in between. Josh Fuentes heading towards second.
Oh, boy, Josh.
And he's got a stand-up double.
That's nice right there.
Yeah, that came scorching off the bat.
Yeah, Josh been swinging good, man.
He's one of those guys, speaking of chip on the shoulder, and Ryan, you and I have talked about this before. I love that kind of player, in that everybody always is going to talk about their deficiencies, and yet every year they show up and they add something else to their toolbox. Doesn't it seem that way?
Oh, definitely. And specifically with Josh, man, he thrives in those situations. You know, he's been pretty open about it. He's been doubted for a long time, and I think he's a hell of a player, man. I really admire how he plays the game, and I mean, dude, he can swing it. He's really fun to watch. This guy at the plate too can really swing it.
He launched one yesterday.
Yeah, Welks looked real good.
Who else has stood out to you of young guys, and they may not be major leaguers just yet, and even on the mound, Helcris Olivares is set to pitch today. He's a 20-year-old. I don't know if you knew much about him before this spring, but who jumps out at you so far?
He's been awesome. Trejo, I think, has been really good this spring. Obviously, Welk, I'll get the job done right there. That's good baseball. Who else? Trejo, I thought has looked really good. He's really good with the glove. Honestly, man, we have a really great young crew. Oh, wait, what? Wait, give me. We have a really great young group that's come up with us, man. There's a lot of good players in this organization, so it's been fun to watch them. You know, they've got a little bit more of a chance this spring, you know, so it's been fun to watch.
You call it a young group. I heard you nickname the team Charlie's Children.
Yep. That's patented. I gotta get a patent on that.
So what does that look like? Is it a picture of Charlie Blackmon in the middle with all of his children? I mean, how are you picturing Charlie's Children?
I don't know yet. I'm up for ideas, but I think Chuck has to be the centerpiece for sure. You know, but if you have any good ideas, throw them out there for me.
Hey, by the way, is Story in the dugout today?
He's somewhere in there.
He is? Well, when you're done with the interview, you go up to him and say he owes me a couple of shekels for that T-shirt he produced, okay?
Yep. We'll have to get you one.
Yeah.
Oh, we got one.
Nice.
Is that all I get for that entertainment value?
I guess, man. I don't know. You're going to have to take that up with him.
Yeah, all right. I may have you represent me, okay?
That's fair.
All right. Hey, by the way, how's your brother doing? How's football going?
He's doing well, man. They're getting to have like a normal spring, I think, right now. So he sent me some video the other day. They were doing like some goal line work. His first couple reads were closed off, and he had to beat the linebacker to the corner. He went full dive for the pylon. So it was pretty cool.
Tell everybody where he's at.
He's at Rice University.
Yeah.
Is it Rice University?
Yeah.
I know they're the Owls.
Yeah, Rice Owls.
Yep. So he's down there in Houston right now.
So he got all the brains. They wouldn't let you in there, would they?
No chance.
Yeah.
No, I would need a lot of favors to get in there.
I saw you throwing the football with Brendan Rodgers yesterday. Who throws the tighter spiral?
Between me and my brother, or me and Brendan?
You and Brendan.
Me and Brendan, it's easy. It's me. He's got some work to do there. He's not bad though. He can spin a little bit.
Hey, listen. Have you ever watched the huddle video when he
I
was
saw
senior?
it. Like,
He could play.
I know Ryan can play. We've seen some videos. There was a couple passes where if you're a wide receiver, your ribs are going to get shattered. But other than that,
Yeah, I was pretty good. at. Never mind. I left a lot of guys open. That's for sure.
Who is you had a big time wideout in high school, didn't you?
Yeah, Thomas Duarte. He played at UCLA. Did really well there. And Dom, do it.
High and deep and long. Dom
my guy.
Nunez. Here come the Rockies, 4-3.
Man, that was a shot.
That was a big fly.
That's another guy who's looked good this camp, man. He's swinging it really well. I gotta go give him some love. I might have to hop off with you guys, man.
well, it's good to see you.
All right.
We appreciate the rally.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Talk to
You got
later.
it. See you, Ryan.
All right, bye.
It's like a changeup up to Dom Nunez, and right off the bat, I mean, you could tell from the sound, the pop. McMahon getting a little high five and some love.
I said it last year. I'm going to say it again, Spilly. He's my, and he's already established himself as a real solid big leaguer. 24 home runs a couple years ago for Ronak, but
Sure.
he's my breakout guy again. And when I say breakout, he could be a 30-plus home run guy, 275. You know, kind of replace Nolan in the middle of the order somewhere, whether it's fifth, fourth some days. We're playing batting second. This ball is lined to center field by Daza. So after struggling in the first inning against the ace of the Cubs, Kyle Hendricks, the Rockies have barreled up some baseballs against him here in the second.
A lot of the pitches for Kyle this inning have been up, and if you're missing up in location, that's going to get hit, and that's going to be it for Kyle and the Cubs. They're running off the field. They've had enough.
Yeah, we saw this yesterday.
I love it. They're like, hey, we're good.
We're good. That's enough. You guys go to the field. We're going to hit it. 4-3.
The Passport is a new ticket package for 2021. Don't worry about a set plan or a set number of seats. Reserve discounted tickets when it fits your schedule. Go to Rockies.com/tickets for more details. First pitch fouled off by Anthony Rizzo as we head to the top of the third inning. Cubs 4, Rocks 3. It felt like Kyle Hendricks just, his feelings were hurt and just wanted to end that inning.
Yeah, did he do it or did David Ross do it?
Well, whoever did, I'm going to blame it on feelings. I don't care about pitch count.
I thought that was fine. One ball, one strike on Rizzo. Chris Bryant on deck. Cubs got 3 in the first, 1 in the second. The Rockies within a run. The highlight being the Dom Nunez towering home run to right. Well, the Rockies want to get more production. We chatted about this yesterday out of the catcher's spot. And if the spring is any indication, they will, between Elias Diaz and Dom Nunez. They still have a number of big names with the Cubs, but I think the unquestioned leader on the field and off the field of the Chicago Cubs is the guy at the plate, Anthony Rizzo. Jason Hayward, a very good leader as well. pop fly to left field. Tapia coming on will make the catch. That'll bring up Las Vegas native and a product of the University of San Diego, Chris Bryant. Kind of an end of the bat, doubled a floater down the left field line that produced a couple of runs for Bryant, former National League MVP. Speaking of big people, if you've never seen Chris Bryant up close, maybe television does a disservice. This is a big guy.
He's big
and athletic.
About 6'4", gets in a crouch so you can't tell. Runs really well, similar to Sam Hilliard. Except I do think, Drew, as we're watching evolution of baseball, we're seeing that the high fastball is exposing a lot of hitters. High fastball, it's called carry when you're looking at spin rate. It's been called the same thing for years, but good pitch from Derek Rodriguez on a curveball. I think we're going to start seeing shorter players again. Shorter players have a much easier time at reaching the high fastball, and I believe we're going to get back to a time frame where players are just going to adapt.
So you're saying I have a shot?
You have a very good shot. You and Eddie Goodell.
I would have posted Eddie Goodell up. Let that be noted. 2 outs, Jock Peterson, who homered down the left field line his first time up on a fastball, Spilly, that may have been out of the strike zone up. Slider for a strike on the inside corner, 0-1. We were talking about Stanford earlier with Nico Horner. Jock went to Palo Alto High School, which literally is right across the street from Stanford.
Beautiful baseball field. Sunken Diamond Field. Beautiful.
Yep. And this ball is loud toward right center field, and it has a chance to fly, and it will. With a great spring, and his first season as a Cub continues for Jock Peterson. 2 for 2, 2 home runs this afternoon. And he has 5 already on the spring, and it's March 11th.
Hanging curveball right in the middle portion of the plate. Jock is just so strong. Saw him in the home run derby in Cleveland 2 years ago and put on a show, and he's putting on a show today at Salt River.
You know, he reminds me a little bit of a different body type, but remember Matt Stairs? He would proudly say, and one of the great characters, he played forever as a ninth inning pinch hitter, role player, but hit a lot of home runs. And he said every pitch I've ever seen in the big leagues, I had one mission, and that was he wasn't trying to serve the ball the other way, stay inside. He was trying to hit the ball 6,000 miles every single pitch. 0-2, 2-0, 3-1 did not matter. And I think that's Jock Peterson's philosophy. Don't you agree?
So Stairs used to say, swing hard in case you hit it. That was his hitting philosophy. It was great.
Yeah.
He would come up, and I'm sure you felt the same way. Houston Street would always get hammered by Matt Stairs. Always. Like, every time that Houston Street would come in, Matt Stairs came up, we're like, oh, great. Done. And we saw him for years. He was with Philly, he was with the Padres, he was with all
he had to buy an extra house to put all his jerseys up.
But he was a guy, when you saw him match up against Street, you're like, great.
Yeah, something tells me whether it was in-game, in the clubhouse before the game, in the dugout, as I said, during the game, or certainly after the game, Matt Stairs was entertaining to be with. Baez on 2 hops to third. And Cron stays on the bag. That'll end the inning. Solo home run again for Jock Peterson. And it is 5-3 Chicago as the Rockies will go to the back rack in the bottom of the third.
Lead off the third inning. Bottom of the third, his second AB. Look at his season-by-season improvement in terms of average on-base percentage and his K percentage. Last year, guys, 321 was 8th in the league. I realize it was a 60-game season. He was tied with Blackman with 48 singles for the team lead. And I like what Buddy said about him this week. He just wants him to be a hit collector this year, get more hits out of the top of the order. He's been doing that.
I love the improvement, and you ask for singles, you ask for on-base percentage, keeps going up. Raimel Tapia is getting better and better. Once he kind of took over in the top spot in the lineup last year, Buddy couldn't take him out of there. He didn't want to take him out of there.
No, I mean, when you have mucho swagger like Raimel Tapia, and you start, not just having the confidence, but you're getting the confidence from your manager to put you in the lineup. Now you can start to fall in sync with the daily routine. You don't have to worry about seeing your name in the lineup. You can just go out and play. And Thomas Harding asked him this offseason about, what are his plans and what kind of goals. And, they asked him if he could win a batting title. He's like, yeah. And people kind of laughed. They're like, it's Raimel Tapia, you're going to win a batting title? People are going to say Juan Soto, but Tapia is so confident.
This is not going to be a double play, as Horner elected to take that himself, and once he did, he got no chance of doubling up Hampson. So Hampson takes over at first base, 1 out, and that'll bring up Sam Hilliard, who struck out his first time against Hendricks. If you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect other people to believe in you?
I mean, everybody should think that you're going to win a batting title, but not everybody can. Rockies, in the history of their franchise, they've a lot of batting titles.
A lot of batting titles.
So is Raimel capable of being in that list? Of course. If he gets the opportunity to play every day.
On that graphic that Mark was, showing everybody, a couple things jump out. They're obvious. The batting average 321, on base percentage close to 370. But there's a reason. His strikeout percentage has dropped into the high teens, and the league average is around 22+%. So he's now well below that, and he has freakish hand-eye coordination. And what I mean by that is he can barrel balls, Spilly, that are nowhere near the strike zone. If you get fooled, some guys get fooled and they're going to miss by a foot with their swing. Todd Helton had the ability to foul off pitches, and sometimes you're like, how did he even, his bat's perpendicular to the ground. Tapia's got some of that ability to get to pitches that other people can't.
Something about the advanced stats when it comes to Tapia, they're not high on projecting him because of the low barrel percentage. Even though he does have the ability to barrel a lot of baseballs, he does make a lot of soft contact because he has a high rate of contact. And we've seen in our game now, as it's evolved, players that don't chase, that make high rates of contact, have a lot of success. So you can have a lower barrel percentage, but if your rate of contact is high, you can live with a lower exit velocity. You can live with lower, percentages of hard hit contact, because if you're putting the ball in play, most likely you're going to get, especially at Coors Field, some balls are going to land and be hits.
Is that one of, for you, the more revealing new metrics the last, half dozen years? Exit velocity average?
I think it's a telling stat, but it's misleading if you don't know the type of hitter. Because if you're a swing and miss guy and you still have a high barrel percentage, that doesn't matter to me. If you're a 40% barrel rate, but you strike out 34%, that's an irrelevant number.
Good job by Hilliard wasting that changeup.
If I have somebody with a high contact percentage, low strikeout rate, low chase, my barrel percentage might be down, but that equates traditionally to a pretty good hitter.
Yeah, last couple of years, I know you know this, one of the guys that has the highest hard hit percentage, exit velocity percentage, is the former Rocky DJ LeMahieu. Hampson going again, and once again fouled back by Hilliard. Well, to strikeout percentage we go again, and I think philosophically and hopefully from an application standpoint, the #1 priority for a number of Rockies up and down the lineup is the strikeout rate has to go down. Has to go down for Sam Hilliard. Has to go down for Ryan McMahon. Has to go down for the guy at first base, Garrett Hampson. And Hilliard is fanned for the second time. So there's 2 outs, and that'll bring up C.J. Cron, who hit a rocket off the leg of Kyle Hendricks for a hit his first time. The other day, C.J. went 3 for 3 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. 2 doubles and a home run. One of the doubles came off the bat at 116 miles an hour. He's got a nice resume.
Hit 30 home runs for the Tampa Bay Rays 3 years ago, 29 with the Minnesota Twins 2 years ago, then was injured last year with the Tigers. Has always beat up on left-handed pitching.
I think he thought that Hampson was going to go there just based on how he took that pitch. There goes Hampson, and he steals the bag easily on Hendricks. Rocky stole a couple of bags yesterday.
Good jump from Garrett. C.J. Cron didn't even do his normal leg kick. He just allowed Garrett to take that bag, trusting in his ability to hit with 2 strikes.
And he's going to drop him in with a base hit to left. So C.J. Cron, that's 5 straight hits over his last couple of ball games, and they've all been loud.
He was not intimidated to hit with 2 strikes. He allowed Garrett Hampson to steal on a 2-1 count. And 2-2 gets a changeup over the middle portion of the plate and just drives it right over Javi Baez's head.
Remember, Spiller, yesterday we were talking about the Rockies having a very athletic team, and they have a number of guys that can steal bases, and you don't want them to be cosmetic. You want them to be productive stolen bases that keep you in ball games or maybe help extend the lead. Rockies down 5-3. There's 2 outs. Hampson gets a bag. Cron drives him in. And instead of taking, 3 hits to get a run, it took just 2 with 2 outs. Now you're back within a marker. Now, do not look for C.J. Cron to run here.
No.
We were talking about the catching spot where the Rockies need to get more offensive production. Well, they need to get more offensive production than what has transpired the last couple of years at first base as well from a slugging standpoint. And C.J. Cron may just provide that. The single drives in. Garrett Hampson, one-run game.
The first leg, I made it to Vegas, Las Vegas, New Mexico, that is. Some things that you should know from the very beginning is to bring a pillow. I forgot a pillow. All right, so I'm about 5 hours away from Scottsdale. It is a great day if you're a tumbleweed or a wind turbine. It stinks if you're a passenger car or a truck. Yeah, so I made it. Officially in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm parked in the parking lot of the hotel. Uncle Eddie's here. Rockies, let's go. 2021. We're finally here. Woo!
At any point in time, were you in peril pulling that trailer?
I was. There was a couple spots along near Payson, Arizona, where I listened to Waze. Waze is a moron. Waze is an absolute moron. You know, when you're pulling a travel trailer and it's trying to save you 20 minutes, but you have to go through single lane highways. I mean, come on.
Payson's beautiful.
Payson
Nice
is beautiful,
drive.
yeah, but now with 50-mile-an-hour winds, no thank you. I'd rather be around civilization and humans in cell service.
Are you familiar with the famous John Steinbeck book, Travels with Charlie?
I have not read that.
Okay, he's traveling.
Is it a coloring book or is it words?
Yeah, for you, I'll get you the coloring book version. But he's traveling around the country with his dog, who was named Charlie. I think there's some sort of material with, travels with Spilly in his trailer.
So I am leaving immediately after today's game. I have the travel trailer.
Do you have it here?
It's in the parking lot right now at Salt River Fields because there's some crazy storm coming to Colorado.
Yency Almonte's in the ball game now, and he gets one hopper to Fuentes, who wins it across to get Cameron Maben. I have to check that out. I didn't get to check it out yesterday.
So I'll give you a couple minutes to look at it, and then I'm out.
Then you're out the gate.
Trying to make it to Grants, New Mexico tonight, which is about 5 hours away.
You'll do that. Is there
I'm stopping at a KOA. So if you're in New Mexico and you want to meet me, I'll be at Grants KOA between 11 o'clock at night and 7 a.m.
Chris Owings, 2 outs. Yency had a great year last year. The Rockies bullpen overall, bad numbers. Close to a 7 ERA. Worst in franchise history. Daniel Bard, very reliable. Yency Almonte, very reliable.
The biggest thing for Yency last year, walk percentage was 5%.
That's weak contact. Fuentes gets
play.
one. Great play. Seen that play before by a relative of his. 1-2-3 inning for Yency Almonte. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Rockies trailing 5-4. Fuentes will lead it off. There's Vinny holding court. Good inning from Yency Almonte, and Josh Fuentes is going to lead it off. Kyle Hendricks is still out there. Fuentes doubled to left center field against him, and he gets caught off a quality swing there.
Going back to last inning, what a wonderful play from Josh. Nico Horner off the top of the ball. Just ranging to his left, quick step and throw. Nice play.
Had to get a lot on it, too. Horner, a good athlete.
Well, when you practice with your cousin all the time on this play, you learn by osmosis.
And this is toward the gap again in left center field. Happ trying to cut it off, and this time he'll be able to hold Fuentes to a single. He's found a couple barrels this afternoon against one of the league's top pitchers in Hendricks. Rockies this week kind of found their stride offensively. Did you find that pitchers were way ahead of hitters initially, Spilly?
Unless you had players that wouldn't play winter ball. Usually winter ball players are ahead of hitters, are ahead of pitchers. But for the most part, guys are always behind pitchers. That'll do it for Kyle Hendricks.
So when we come back, Colton Welker will come up with Fuentes at first and nobody out. Colton Welker is going to come up with Josh Fuentes at first base. Cubs have made a pitching change. Trevor McGill on the mound. This will be his 4th appearance of the spring. They have some spots potentially available in their bullpen. Craig Kimbrell, who struggled the first part of the 60-game schedule last year, came back, pitched better in the second half. Final year of his contract, looks to be the closer.
Well, McGill definitely has the ability to be a solid, viable pitching option for David Ross in the bullpen. 6'8". That's why when you look at these baseball players on television, you're like, oh, he looks like he's pretty big. He's 6'8", and on top of the mound, that makes him like 12 feet.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Welker. Welker got the ball in play on the right side to drive in a run his first time up. Hit a 3-run home run to deep left center field yesterday. Goes down. With 1 out, Dom Nunez will come up. Dom had a fun first at bat.
Leaned on a high changeup. Brian McMahon loved it. We were having a wonderful interview with McMahon, and he just said, all right, I'm out. I got to go give my guys some love. So, got that going for us.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand the pitching change, Drew. Maybe you can explain it to me.
Go ahead.
Kyle Hendricks comes out for 2 pitches and ends his day at 53. And I was just, why'd you even come out for the 4th inning then?
You wanted to get Fuentes. It's a matchup thing.
Colton Welker was on deck, another righty.
I have no idea. Odd things happen during spring training.
Told you. I mean, they're pulling guys out left and right if their feelings are hurt.
Fans come wandering down, yelling at a manager to go put their best player in the game. Fuentes takes off, and he'll get cut down, trying to steal by Contreras.
This is what Javi Baez is known for. It's the picks at second base. And this is another showcase opportunity for us to look at Javi Baez. It's a short hop. Wilson Contreras, quick throw. Not a good throw, but look at that.
Another blind tag, too.
It's amazing.
Two O's in there, strike on Nunez. Dom, a kid from Northern California, Sacramento area. He's going to go to UCLA, but the Rockies drafted him and signed him. 2-2. Maybe nobody told him. Next thing you know, Hendricks is out there. David Russell come out. Thought we were pulling him out.
Yeah, I guess he just ran back out.
Snuck out on the field.
Watch this play. Cubs bullpen. Nice. He's pumped about it too. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a good play. And that's strike 3 on Dunn. So a couple of strikeouts for McGill in the 4th inning. To the 5th we go. Rockies trailing 5-4.
Down in Scottsdale, it's the Cubs and the Rockies. Lucas Gilbreth, the lefty, is going to come on. Lucas went to Legacy High School in Broomfield. I live up in Thornton, north part of town, off 136, right around where he's from. I was able to have an email with his mom, Teresa, today, because she is the principal at Cottonwood Creek Elementary up in Westminster. Now, she's not down in Scottsdale, but she did tell me that his wife, Kelsey, who also went to Legacy and was a soccer star at the University of Georgia, she's there. Lucas went to the University of Minnesota. And Drew, I know that you know that he played in the Futures game at Coors Field. He also walked around Coors Field as a little leaguer, and his parents are born and raised here in Denver. They went to North Glen High School. Very proud of Lucas. He's on the hill today. This could be a really cool story, this lefty for the Rocks.
Got good stuff. He's a guy that's added velocity. As you said, he ended up as a Golden Gopher at the University of Minnesota. Historically, a very good program. In fact, brag on some kids I know. There's 4 guys from the state of Colorado, 3 from Mountain Vista High School, that play at the University of Minnesota right now. Drew Stahl, Sam Ireland. Swung on and missed.
Good fastball.
Pitcher by the name of Liffrig, left-hander, who went to Utah initially, and Drake Davis, who went to Arizona State initially. 4 Coloradans who are a big part of the University of Minnesota baseball program where Lucas Gilbreth went. And that's a strikeout, so good start.
Nice. He punched out a Colorado player as well, David Bodie. Well, I like the high fastball. If you have high fastball with 2 strikes, it's such a weapon for you. Oh, is he in half?
An Ohio kid, but close to Colorado.
Yeah, it was close.
You know, it's wonderful that Gilbreth is a kid from the Centennial State. But right now, you know, Gilbreth very much in the mix. Rockies basically went without a left-hander last year in the bullpen. You know, he's a candidate. You know, Philip Deal, we saw yesterday, he struggled a little bit in spring training so far. Ben Bowden, who we're going to see later on potentially in this ball game, a candidate on the left side. Steve Foster, Buddy Black looking on.
Well, Buddy and Steve Foster are going to enjoy watching Lucas if he's pumping strikes. That's what you want to see from any reliever coming in, is command of the fastball, throw strikes.
And that was a check swing, so it's 2-2. Or was it? No. That was interesting. At home plate, it was called strike 3, so there was no reason to check. I think Dom Nunez assumed that they were going to check. So back-to-back strikeouts.
What's funny about this play is home plate umpire calls it a check swing. He says, yep, he went. They checked down to first. And the first base umpire said, no, he didn't.
That was, the coordination was a little bit off on that.
It's all right.
Yeah. As they say, it's spring training for everyone. Anthony Rizzo with 2 outs. Billy, how distracting was it in terms of trying to find that slot and pick up the baseball if you're in the batter's box and you see the glove and then the hand. Because if you watch Gilbreth, the glove kind of flips and then he's coming with a dart behind it.
You're usually paying attention to the pitcher's hat, and you're focused on the hat, and you move over to the pitching window. So you try not to get distracted by the glove unless it comes into that focus point.
A little deception there, though, right?
There is deception because he throws from behind his ear. It's almost like a short arm. Reminds me of Mike Dunn from a couple years ago.
And Rizzo pops up the 2-0 pitch to shallow center, and see, that's one for me, Spilly. You played center field. That's one where Sam Hilliard's got to call off his shortstop. It's an easier play for the center fielder coming in, is it not?
There's no question. And Chris Owings is a veteran shortstop as well, but this is a ball again. Rockies defense has been very sloppy this spring. Sam's coming in. He already gave up on it. He's trusting on Chris Owings, but as a center fielder, that's such an easier play for you.
Well, he never got a glove on it, so it's going to be scored a hit, but that ball has to be caught. Chris Bryant and a two-run double in the first inning and a strikeout. One and two. So we've seen that fastball 94 to 96 from Lucas Gilbreth.
I like it to show you the deception too, because Chris Bryant 1-1 count, took a fastball essentially down the middle. So not picking up the baseball against Lucas.
Right center field. Daza moves over and makes the catch, so no harm on that pop-up that was not caught. Good inning for Lucas Gilbreth out of Legacy High School up north. 5-4 Cubs. Back in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, with our entire crew and Ryan Spilborghs. I'm Drew Goodman. Been a fun ball game, entertaining game so far as we move to the middle innings. Jonathan Daza, who had a sharp base hit his first time up, to face Shelby Miller. That Shelby Miller. Numbers on Shelby, trying to kind of resurrect his career. I'll never forget that near perfect game he threw in St. Louis against the Rockies, where he gave up a hit, I'm trying to remember, a hit to the first batter of the game, and then retired the next 27. Do you remember that one, Spilly?
We were there together.
It was somebody had like an infield hit or something.
Yeah, it was wild.
And then he got the next 27, and it wasn't close. Nobody had a shot that day. Battled health issues the last several years.
He's thrown 15 innings in the last 2 seasons. Oh, jeez.
Well, that got in his kitchen. If Daza doesn't get some part of the bat on the baseball, it may have hit him. One out. That'll bring up Tapia, who's 1 for 2.
Suites and party facilities are now on sale. Prices for all April games, excluding opening day, start at $1,000, including food and beverages. Limited capacities and safety protocols are in place. Go to Rockies.com/suites.
Hey, Buck, can you move me out of here?
Shelby Miller, former #1 pick of the Cardinals back in '09 out of Brownwood, Texas. Best season, 2013 with St. Louis, went 15-9 with a .306 earned run average. It bounces out of the way. That's going to fade toward the Cubs bullpen. Found it 10th, 2000. He struck out 13, didn't walk a batter, allowed 1 hit against the Rockies that day. Eric Young Jr. had a base hit to lead off the game. And the next 27 were set down. The lineup that day for the Rockies: Dexter Fowler, current Cardinal, Cargo, Tulo, Willeen Rosario, a fellow by the name of Todd Helton, a youngster by the name of Arenado, Josh Rutledge batted 8th, and John Garland was the starting pitcher for the Rockies that day. 2 guys pinch hit unsuccessfully. Reed Brignac, remember him? And JP, Jordan Pacheco. Tapia goes down, and that'll bring up Hampson.
It's now 8 strikeouts for the Rockies today. Dexter is now with the Angels.
I said St. Louis.
He
Right.
got moved, but that's a blast from the past, Drew. I mean, those are some names.
Yeah, that's a legit lineup that he carved up. 13 punchies.
So I had some of the numbers wrong. Since 2017, he missed all of last year. It's basically 76 innings in the since 2017 he's thrown. And if you remember the time with Arizona, he's having some issues with the command. He kept hitting his hand at the bottom of the mound. Look out.
Hampson with a base hit.
If I do remember Shelby Miller, not a great move to first, slow, kind of high leg kick. So we'll see if Garrett Hampson will take a shot. We've already seen the Rockies take several today, stealing bases.
You mentioned a good friend of yours who had quite a big league career, Houston Street, earlier. And when Houston was a Rocky, his late father was around quite a bit. James, who's a legendary figure from the University of Texas, won a national championship on the gridiron, was also a heck of a baseball player. as were Houston's brothers also. And I remember having a conversation with James Street, and he said he told his kids, make them rip the spikes off of you. But at some point in time, they're going to take your spikes away also, and be prepared for the next chapter of life. It was kind of a twofold message. And I'm reminded of that because that's Shelby Miller right now.
Yeah. Well, he's only 30 years old.
2-0 on Hilliard.
Fastball still plays 94 miles an hour. There's swing and miss in there. Still a little bit sporadic with the strike zone. I mean, if Daniel Bard was not an example to players that have gone through some stuff, I don't know what other inspiration he could possibly find.
Inside 3-1.
Saw Daniel Bard's wife post a photo of his children with jerseys with the tape number on the back, 52. It's great.
That's classic.
Great comedy.
That is ball 4. So Hilliard will push Hampson to second. And the hottest hitter in the Rockies lineup's coming up, C.J. Cron. Cron, a University of Utah product. Boy, that was a quality swing, wasn't it? He's seen it.
He's locked in right now. He comes from a baseball family. His father, Chris, played in the majors with the Angels and the White Sox. His brother played with the Diamondbacks.
And this is going to be a wild pitch, allowing Hampson to go to third and Hilliard to second. Cron was a first rounder of the Angels back in 2011. His last year at Utah, he led the nation in OPS, over 1,300. High fly ball to left field, just missed it. Peterson will make the catch. In the inning, there was a hit and walk, 2 men left on. We'll go to the 6th inning. The Rockies in the desert, trailing by a run. Cactus League Spring Training Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Steel. Find your Steel dealer at steeldealers.com. More than 9,000 around the country. Cactuses abound everywhere. So have you ever noticed that when we're down here this time of year?
Try not to.
Cubs 5, Rockies 4. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs. New pitcher for the Rockies, former Miami Marlin farmhand, Chad Smith, who interestingly came in a trade last year for Jesus Tinoco. And then Tinoco was let go by Miami, re-signed with the Rockies. So Tinoco's in camp with the Rockies. Chad Smith's in camp with the Rockies. Jock Peterson, who's had a pretty good day. Home run in the first to left, home run to right center in the third. Home runs 4 and 5 of spring training for Peterson, the erstwhile Dodger.
Good sinking action from Smith's fastball. Looking through his minor league stats, he's given up less than a hit per inning and more than a strikeout per inning. So good numbers.
Two on. And that's a tough play by Daza. He recovers nicely. Kind of in between spill. I think off the bat you think maybe can I get to it and catch it off the shoestrings, and then you're running yourself into an in-between hop. And fortunately for Jonathan, it didn't kick that far away, because that was one of those ones that could end up a 3-bagger or more.
Yeah, this is basically the tennis equivalent of a topspin. You'll see hitters do this on occasion. Top hand rolls over the baseball, or rolls over their swing, and you really create a lot of spin. You don't get the true backspin that carries it.
96, a strike on Javi Baez, a line out to left, and a ground ball to third. Runner up to the MVP a couple of years ago. Can't have enough good arms. This kid's got a good arm. Lost a baseball to left center field. He can do that. 2-run home run for Baez.
Second homer this spring for Javi Baez. Just a fastball over the middle. Smith trying to see if he can get Javi tied up inside. Just a mislocation. Might have even been a cut fastball or a slider.
Do you remember, Spilly, the first time we saw Javi Baez? You'd heard a lot about him, but I remember the Cubs were playing the Rockies here at Salt River Fields. Jorge De La Rosa was on the mound, and he hit a cactus, speaking of cactus, 3 rows up on the batter's eye in dead center field. That ball had to have been hit 450 plus feet. And he was still a puppy then.
I want to say his first series where he was really getting a chance to play at the major league level was against the Colorado Rockies, hit an opposite field home run.
Cameron Maben takes low, 1-2. You made the analogy yesterday that, you know, there's more altitude here than any place in baseball other than playing in Denver, Coors Field. So, you know, it's helpful I think, for Rockies players in particular, because this is a big ballpark. It's 345 down the lines. It's 390 in the power alleys, 410 straight away. Yet, when you catch one, we see the home runs hit here with a degree of regularity. And it's a big ballpark. May have been gone, 1 out. That'll bring up David Bodie.
Well, they call spring training stats fool's gold. And certainly when you look at Arizona's stats in over the last couple of years, traditionally it doesn't always translate to regular season numbers.
Well, if you want to be a true seamhead, you want to compare numbers between the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League. The Grapefruit League is always, the numbers offensively are more modest in the heat and humidity of Florida this time of year. And generally you're going to find some robust numbers offensively in the desert. You know, guys who hit, 410 for the spring with 7 home runs. You'd like to once have the card where you can take some of those numbers with you and apply them to the regular season, right?
Oh. Won 3 in your books. I wish, I mean, a lot of players wish whatever they had in spring training, they could apply it towards a stretch of baseball season during the regular year.
I would like to wipe out my last 2 weeks in June this year, and I'm going to take the 450 2 weeks that I had in March. I'm going to cut and paste that over my 2 for 27.
That's right.
Want to know on Nico Horner. One on Horner. Well received by Dom Nunez. 1-2. Hasn't gotten super hot yet down in Phoenix. Temperature, upper 60s, low 70s. Chilly at night. Hampson throws out Horner. Single and a 2-run home run by Javi Baez. And then Chad Smith got the next couple. 7-4 Chicago.
The score 7-4 Cubs as we go bottom 6. Bud Black talked to the media today, and he gave us some good news on Scott Oberg, who, as you know, didn't pitch last year and is coming back from surgery and the blood clot issues. He will pitch an inning on Friday. Feels good. As Bud said, checking the box off so that he can get into a game, his first appearance. Mentally, physically, everything's good. So that's good news, that he's going to pitch tomorrow.
That's great news. It's wonderful news. And first and foremost, you want great health going forward. As Owens swings this, hits it deep down the right field line, and the sliding attempt is not going to produce an out. It's Patrick Wisdom, and he had the wisdom, Spilly, to bail out, not run into the wall. But with Scott Oberg, the Rockies, you like that one, didn't you?
We're all filled up with bad dad jokes, so yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. But with Scott Oberg, good health, number one, and number two, this is a guy that, look at his numbers from 18 and 19. Sterling numbers out of the Rockies bullpen. And so he's going to factor in late in ball games for Buddy Black, another option.
The Rockies back into the bullpen might be sneaky good. Don't forget Michael Givens last year came over from Baltimore. We already mentioned Daniel Bard, comeback player of the year. Saw Yancy Almonte already today, had a nice clean inning. If you can get Scott Oberg, and you have to temper expectations, right? You know, the guy missed a season. What's his arm? What's his health going to be like? You know, do you expect him to be in a setup role? I think you allow him to get his feet underneath him.
Second inning of work for Shelby Miller, 3-2 on Chris Owings. And Owens works a walk.
Taco Bell's cheesy phenom has returned, a chalupa shell with pepper jack and mozzarella cheeses. It's like you and the quesalupa were never apart.
Fuentes at the plate. Josh had a nice ball game, double and a single, really almost identical looking hits. Line drives to left center field. The second one was cut off in the gap by Ian Happ to hold Fuentes to a single. Owens dives back in.
Jamison Hanna has replaced Owings at first.
Oh, okay. There's Jameson. Saw him late in the ball game yesterday. Came over from the Reds. There goes Hanna, and he's going to steal second. Portion of the game where we're going to try to give you names of guys that have come in. Nick Martini's in left field now for Chicago. Michael Hermosillo is in center field. Alfonso Rivas is at first. And another base hit. Fuentes is 3 for 3. And the ball's not handled out there in right field by Wisdom, and Hanna is going to come around to score. Hanna, because Wisdom was pretty shallow, the ball was hit pretty well. Even with his speed, was going to stop at third. And then when it was bobbled, Stu Cole sent him home. So it's 7-5. So it'll be a single and an error. No RBI for Fuentes.
Nice inside out swing, 3 hits on the day. It's just a nice day for Josh. Hanna keeping his, nope, he did not have his head up looking at Stu Cole, which is fine. Made the read on his own. I like that Josh took himself out. He gets the first, he's like, I'm good.
He's getting to be more of a veteran big league player. He can do that.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Brett, you want to run for me at first? So it's Brett Boswell at first now.
Welker to short. There's one, and there's two. Dom Nunez caught looking in the fourth, hit a towering 2-run home run back in the second inning. Rockies yesterday, a pair of home runs, fourth multi-home run game of the spring in 10 contests. In between innings, we saw a quartet of Cub regulars heading out through the passageway in center field. And this is another great thing about the Cactus League, is that you can just jump in your car and drive back, and maybe even drive home, not even go back to the complex in these days of COVID-19.
Yeah, I love that part, because you might be on the highway right now on the 101 in Arizona and stuck in traffic, and looking next to you, you might find David Bodie, Javi Baez with eye blacking in the Cubs uni.
Who was the one? Was it Cargo driving down the highway in his Rockies gear and his Ferrari?
Yeah, I mean, it's
on the 101. Wait a second. I watched that guy on TV last night.
Well, I mean, like, imagine being next to, let's say it was Javi Baez and Jock Peterson in a car next to you. It's 3 homers between the two of them.
Rockies get a run on the base hit by Josh Fuentes, who finished his afternoon at 3 for 3. Going pretty good on the 101. 7-5, Cubs leading the Rockies. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Helcris Olivares, a very intriguing young prospect we're going to tell you more about in a moment. But first, we have to talk to one of the hitting stars, Josh Fuentes. 3 for 3. That's really good. That's 1,000 batting average. Josh, how you be?
I'm good. I'm a lot better after today. Today felt good. We were swinging it too. That was nice.
Well, we set this up earlier. Our producer, Allison Behill, knew you were going to have a big day. She said, listen, when Fuentes comes out after his big day, we'll put him on a headset.
You guys know, man. I should be doing this every time then.
Well, then that's the case. When you have a day like this, and obviously, you know, you're talking, if you didn't have a good day, you were going to come on. What did you feel at the plate? What kind of locked you in? It seemed the first at bat, you squared one up off Hendricks, and then you were rolling.
Yeah, I think it was. And honestly, it starts. Oh my God, Oliver just hit a guy in the foot. It starts before the game, man. Just a little simple adjustment. I think I was just trying to be too aggressive and trying to do too much. But today, I was talking to my hitting coaches, and they said, hey, just kind of be you and let it come to you and hit the mistakes. So today I was just looking for the ball literally right down the middle, and I got some. And I put a couple good swings on it. It was nice.
It seems like you felt, pretty good from day one in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, the first day I was like, oh my God, maybe we're rolling through spring. And it didn't turn out with it. But that's spring training, you have ups and downs, and you got to find a way to battle and get your swing right.
How much more comfortable are you now that you've done this before? You had a really good 60-game season a year ago, and do you feel like, hey, I'm a big leaguer now, as opposed to I'm trying to make the big leagues, I'm just trying to stick, or what's your mindset?
Yeah, that was kind of my mindset all through off season. I finally had the opportunity where I felt pretty confident that I was going to be on the team, kind of, not no matter what, but I was going to be on the team. So I just took that mindset and, hey, man, I want to be the starter and I want to play every day. So, I've been working my butt off to do that. And whether it happens or not, it doesn't really matter as long as I put the work in. And I feel like I've been doing that.
For you, I mean, you're bouncing around the infield from third to first. We were chatting with Ryan McMahon, too, about this. Versatility for the infield, it seems to be there. Where do you feel the most comfortable right now?
Yeah, right now I would say first. I only say that because pretty much this offseason I was. Oh, come on. What Trejo? We're all hit. God, that's nice. Well, I've been working at first a lot, and I really want to perfect that position, to be honest. But you know, we have a lot of guys on the team that are good and that can swing it. A lot of young, hungry dudes. So, you know, I'm not really complaining that I play third or that I want to play first. But I think the coaches know that I'm pretty solid over there. But it's always good to have versatility, and I think with this team, that's huge.
One of the things that's always mentioned when you talk about a corner infielder in today's game, really going back for a while, is, okay, that guy's got to hit it over the wall. You swung the bat really well last year. Historically, you've been, and sometimes we can make an assessment, and the assessment should change, but good hitter, gap-to-gap hitter, occasional power. Is it something that you focus on, hey, I got to hit the ball over the wall more, or I'm just going to be me, and if I can go be a 300 hitter and be a 35 double guy, that's who I am, and I'm not going to worry about the number of times the ball leaves the ballpark?
Yeah, it's in 19, I was in AAA, and I kind of had that mindset of like, man, you know, I didn't make the team the year before. I didn't called up. Maybe it's because I wasn't hitting homers, and I'm playing on the corners. So I kind of changed my swing a little bit, and I ended up hitting like 250, which is just awful. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to back to line drives, man, and you know, for me, that's where I play. You know, in the gaps up the middle, and if it leaves, it leaves. But you know, I bring a lot of things to this team, and as a ball player, and you know, it's not 40 homers, but you know, I do a lot of things pretty well. So you know, just kind of concentrate on what I do well. I think that's huge.
For you, your cousin, new team, and you guys work so hard together. I mean, how much has he instilled some confidence in you as well?
Yeah, I mean, me and Nolan, when we work in the off season, it's intense, man. And I think this year, with him leaving, he was kind of like, hey, man, you know, you be be yourself. You know, there's no more Nolan's cousin. You know, sometimes I hear it in the stands, but you know, it's none of that stuff. But man, he just told me to go be myself, and that was huge. And you know, I'm happy for him, and I know he's happy for me. Going to get more opportunities for sure.
We talked to Ryan McNabb about this earlier, and I know Kyle Freeland was probably the most outspoken so far in the opening few weeks of spring training about, you know, don't count us out. We have a chip on our shoulder. We know who we have, even if the rest of baseball is not as familiar, especially, you know, losing your cousin / brother. What's your mindset with this club overall?
Honestly, since day one,
Get out of play.
since day one, we've been just hungry. You know, we know what people say. You know, we get written on and all this stuff, but we have guys here that want to be big leaguers, that want to stay in this game a long time. And you know, I think you can't overlook that. You know, yeah, we might not have vets and guys who are MVPs, but we got some ball players who are trying to work and get better. And I think that's where it starts, man. You got to start somewhere, and you got to start with guys who are willing to work and be hungry, and we're hungry. Our practices and our games, and guys are trying to get better, and we're talking and we're learning. So as long as we can keep that going and stay with each other and stick as a team, I think we're going to surprise some people. I really do.
And Josh, the most important question we save for the end, and that is, how did you do in the hoop event yesterday? Because I was kind of crossing over the top, and I was watching you, and I just need to find out what the final tally was.
Our team, the Fantastic Fours, are moving. We are moving on to face the front office. We had huge performances from Jose Mejica, Eric Stamitz, Brian Gonzalez. We got a bunch of grinders on this team, and you better catch us in the semis, because I got jerseys for all my team, and we're gonna look good.
You got to beat the front office, right? These guys aren't athletes anymore.
Well, you'd be surprised. Tyler Sanders, one of our clubbies, he was pretty good out there. So Jesse Stender, he can shoot a little bit. And, you know, they're cocky. They're front office guys, but we're going to get them.
What kind of jerseys are we talking about? We're talking about like the tropics type stuff?
No,
or?
we got. I'm telling you, I got it from this company. It's like purple with like white outlining, and I got black numbers. I got everyone's number. I got the names on the back. I mean, we're gonna look. I got Kobe socks too. I mean, we're gonna be nice.
That's strong.
Let's go.
Good game. Hey, Josh, we'll let you shower up, get down the road. Great job today. Continued success this spring training, and you know that opening day is always right around the corner.
Yes, sir. We're excited, man. Thank you so much, guys.
See you, Josh.
Have a good one,
man. Ildemaro Vargas draws the walk. So now there's 2 on.
I'm definitely excited to see this young arm. Reminds me of Jesus Luzardo with the Oakland A's. Big, heavy, left-handed fastball. Still wild, work in progress. You also have to go back to a year ago. You know, for a lot of these players missing out on last year, and even if they were at the alternate camp, it doesn't supplement playing games. It does not.
Nick Martini at the plate. And it's moved off the plate.
Veteran catcher. Chatting him up, settling him down.
This is an exciting prospect. Yeah. Hear this a lot with young pitchers, learning how to repeat their delivery, but you can't teach 96 to 98. 20-year-old Helcris Olivares. That was smooth, and it was an easy 96. No grunting involved.
Yeah, that fastball plays. There's a little.
That had a little some movement to it,
some
didn't
movement to it. A little sink. Nick Martini is not happy. He's like, hey, first pitch almost drills me in the back, and then he paints me 2.
Here's the 1-2. That had some cutting action too on that particular fastball. Three and 2. Only good reports on Olivares on the mound. Very bright and mature 20-year-old kid. This is up top, so the bases are loaded. Steve Foster's going to go out. Trent Gimbroni's coming up.
So it's Jose Bracino
Behind the dish.
behind the plate. Jose from Caracas, Venezuela. Olivares from the Dominican. I always love just the amount of different backgrounds that you have, especially in spring training when you have 75 players. Such a wonderful mix of cultures and backgrounds.
Two and out.
For Hellcrace, he's only really played at the low A level. The highest he's played is for the Grand Junction Rockies, which is short season A ball. And he will walk.
Walk in a run, not good. But
He'll walk himself in too.
well, that's right. They can just say, hey, I'm done. So we'll see the Rockies with the bats again. Some of the younger players, 8-5 Chicago.
Mark Stout here in our Denver studios. Rex Brothers is going to come on the hill for the Cubs. Yes, that Rex Brothers, you know the name. I just checked this out just for interest's sake. How many first-round draft picks did the Rockies take that were lefties over the year? And it starts in '94 with Doug Millian. I think people know his name. Unfortunately, he passed away. Then there's Jeff Francis after that in '02, Christian Friedrich in '08, Tyler Matzik a year later in '09, as this is a fly ball to left. Then Rex in '09 as well. He was, later in the first round. Tyler Anderson, Kyle Freeland, and Ryan Wolison. First round lefties.
First round lefties. Rex had some really good moments with the Rockies. More than good moments. He had some good years with the Rockies. And trying to make the Chicago Cubs this year.
It was a good story a couple of years ago when he bounced back and made it with the Atlanta Braves. Rex was dealing with some arm issues, and now that he's healthy, you can see that the ball's coming out of his hand nice. Last year had 3 innings pitched at the major league level with the Cubs. But that Braves team back in 2018 had not only Rex Brothers, who had the good comeback, but Tyler Matzik.
Good story last year with Matzik. Coming back with Atlanta. And Rex drops the slider in there. Ryan Valade's on deck. Alan Trejo behind 0-2. So another opportunity here to see a young player with a lot of promise. Guy was drafted high in Ryan Valade. Rockies' first pick in 2017. That's in the dirt.
Well, Valade was born in Grapevine, Texas, but his high school career was in Stillwater, Oklahoma. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year his senior year. .410 batting average, 7 homers and 34 RBIs.
Well, there was a guy that was committed to Oklahoma State, as he was. He went to Stillwater High that turned out okay.
Was his name, was it Mark Holliday?
It was Mark Holliday, and he's now on the Oklahoma State staff that is headed by his brother, Josh. Matt's there. Dad's back there at Oklahoma State. And his dad was at Oklahoma State when Matt was, coming up. And the reason we're talking about coaches, Ryan Valade's dad was on the staff at Oklahoma State when he was making his way through Stillwater High School.
I'm not sure if you've seen any videos, but Matt's son, his oldest, Jackson Holliday, is turning into a heck of a player.
Saw the swing on Twitter the other day.
Yeah, and he's committed to go to Oklahoma State as well. Little subplot is Tula, who's coaching at University of Texas, he's trying to get Jackson to come to Texas so he can teach him how to play shortstop.
Good stuff. 8-5 in the desert.
Stream every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand with MLB.tv online or on your favorite supported devices, as well as select spring training games. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Beautiful day in Scottsdale, Arizona. limited capacity. You got to stay in your little square.
Stay in your lane. It's great to see fans. Awesome to see fans. Ben Bowden's going to throw here, Spilly, another candidate we were talking about earlier. Be a lefty out of the bullpen. This will be the 4th outing of the spring for Ben Bowden. We went to Vanderbilt. They crank out great students and great baseball players. They may have the first 2 picks in the draft next year. Allider's son, Jack, and the guy that the Rockies drafted out of high school, but they knew he was going to go to Vanderbilt, Coomer Rocker. They may go 1-2, and I don't know what the order will be, but they're not getting very far past 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the draft. You go back to your UCSB days. Friday night you're getting Rocker, and Saturday you're getting Leiter. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm trying to trying to miss that trip.
Well, think of Bowden's team when Ben was at Vandy. They were the runners-up to the national champion in 2015. I'm trying to remember who won it, but they finished 2nd. Dansby Swanson played short. Walker Buehler was a member of that staff. Carson Fulmer, Kyle Wright also on that team. So they crank out the talent. Year in and year out, they have, if not the best, one of the best recruiting classes in baseball. And the Rockies took Bowden in 2016 in the 2nd round.
Yeah, there's a couple of college programs where, you know, if you draft a shortstop, you draft them from Long Beach State. If you're looking for some starting pitching, you go to Vandy.
Yeah. The Rockies have had some success with shortstops from Long Beach State. Got one right now, Garrett Hampson. Tulo, of course, who's thrown away all his dirtbag stuff for the orange of UT. Oh, man down. It's okay, back up. Beer down, too. Got a baseball though.
Well worth it. Usually by the 7th inning, you don't need your beer anymore.
Love when everybody gets along. 3-2. Down the inside corner for a strike. And Bowden has one in the book.
Three-two pitch. Wisdom backed off of it. Well received. A little generous with the strike zone, but you'll take it.
Taylor Gashue is pinch hitting for David Bodie. Couldn't hold up.
I like that. We saw Gomber yesterday with good command of the changeup. And if Bowden has a good secondary pitch and it's a changeup as well, it just helps your fastball so much. It goes back to changeup. To me, as I'm looking at different position battles, and obviously for the Rockies figuring out that long relief role, who is that going to be? Because I believe it's such a viable position this year. So important. Gilbreth had the clean inning. He was a former starter. He looked good.
Guy we haven't seen yet. He's pitched in spring training. We haven't seen him on our broadcast. His first 2 days is Robert Stevenson, who came over from Cincinnati.
You remember how valuable Chris Russin was 4 years ago. Either as a swing man with a start, and just eat up some innings in the middle portion.
The wind up there. Connor Joe makes a catch. Abiatal Avellino will get his first at bat. Nice job for Bowden. He has a 1-2-3 inning. Cubs leading 8-5 for what that's worth on March the 11th. Bunch of kids playing hooky. Love it. Or maybe they're on spring break.
It's
Throw me a baseball.
Yeah, it's 3:40. Maybe they just came after school.
No, they're here early and they're staying late. It's awesome. Hey, you know who's up? Eleris Montero, who's one of the prospects that came in the Nolan deal to St. Louis. He's a powerfully built third baseman. And he gets a slider inside from Jason Adam, ball one.
Well, Montero was the Midwestern League midseason postseason all-star. He's also the Midwest League's most valuable player in 2018.
He was the highest rated of the prospects that came over. Austin Gomber was on the big league roster, and Gomber has looked great this spring training. If you missed it yesterday, he threw 3 really good innings and saw command of all 4 of his pitches. He struck out the side in the second with a changeup, a curveball. Excuse me, actually it was a slider, a curveball, and then a fastball up in the zone at 94. Showed a really good changeup yesterday. Threw several outstanding changeups. Gombers look good. 1-2 on Montero, who has big time power. One out. Jose Briseño will take his turn. He's been working behind the plate the last couple of innings. Good day for Dom Nunez, who will work in tandem with Diaz behind the plate. Dom Nunez a home run earlier. Pretty good fastball from Adam. 96. Check in with Mark Stout back in Denver. Mark.
Hey guys, Jamison Hanna's going to come to bat. He came over in the Jeff Hoffman deal from the Reds as well as Robert Stevenson, who you mentioned. You were talking about college baseball as well. So he played at Dallas Baptist. He's from the Dallas area. And I noticed when we talked to him the other day on a Zoom call, I had to ask him, he's 3 days birthday-wise away from Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray's born October the 7th, 97. Jamison, August the 10th. So 3 days difference. And I said, did you play sports against him in the Dallas area? And he said only in college when Kyler Murray was playing at Oklahoma, and they were both picked by the A's in the first and second round of 2018.
How about that?
Interesting.
Kyler Murray, and Mark, you obviously know this, you know, first-round pick of the A's, and then he turned back all that money when he won the Heisman Trophy, and he goes #1 overall in the NFL draft.
Yeah, when
Crazy.
the Arizona said,
Crazy to
"Hey,
have
we're
that kind of talent.
taking him." Yeah.
Rockies going in order as Hannah fouls out. And we'll go to the 9th inning. 8-5, Chicago leading. 9th inning, the Rockies have another new arm out there. Brian Gonzalez on the left side. I heard Josh Fuentes mention Gonzalez and his gritty performance on the hoop court. Just outside the clubhouse is a basket, and last couple of years got competitive in terms of all the horse games, and there's a roster-wide, organization-wide horse game tournament, if you will, that's been taking place. And the Floridian has a swing and a miss on his first pitch of the ball game, of at least his participation in the ball game. That's the first pitch of the ball game, though.
No, this would be crazy.
That's a strike as well. We were talking about Kyler Murray last inning, Billy. I was down at a baseball event last fall. Actually, it was in the summer anyhow, in Allen, Texas. And Kyler Murray played his high school football, baseball at Allen High School. Their facilities are ridiculous. Their football stadium seats like 25,000 people. They have luxury suites. At one point when he was there, they won 3 straight titles. When he was quarterbacking, won 43 games in a row.
In a row?
In a row. And that's big boy football in Texas.
Nice bat by Miller for the Cubs. Down 2 strikes. Lines went up the middle.
So Ian Miller's aboard.
It's a tougher bat. Sit all game. Come in, face somebody you've probably never seen before.
All their fields, their baseball fields, everything's completely turfed out. Their varsity field, their JV field, which are pretty much identical. And then the women's softball field, same thing. And it's all in a, in a quad, if you will. They have an indoor practice field in football. They have an outdoor turf practice field. Their weight room would put most major colleges to shame. It's the high school. Their stadium costs almost $70 million.
What?
Yeah. And then there's one down the road, same thing, McKinney High School in McKinney, Texas. Miller takes off. Jose Lobaton lines 1-2 right. Miller moves to third.
Nice play by Boswell at right field. These are always tough reads for a right fielder off the. It's like an inside out. Jams the hitter, but there's a little sideways spin to it, which will make it travel towards the line.
This is Rivas, Alfonso Rivas. He takes inside. What inning, be honest, what inning did you quit keeping score?
Still kind of scoring. He lost. He lost me in the bottom of the 8th.
That's pretty good. You got through the bottom of the 8th?
Yeah. He lost me in the bottom of the 8th. It just started turning into chicken scratch, and I just threw my pen down and said, okay, I give in.
I give. No TV tomorrow. Back on the air on Saturday. Are you going to videotape your trek home through the snowflakes?
I really hope I see no snowflakes.
Runner breaks. Throw to the plate is in time. No slide from Miller. And nicely done by Eric Stamets.
That's a nice little play by Stamets in between Hoff. Check it out right there. Quick feed. Miller's wondering, well, I don't know why he didn't slide. It is spring training.
Here's Vargas. And he's got a base hit through the right side. Second at bat for Nick Martini. Walked his first time up. You know, we mentioned that you know, some guys every year teams lose players. In the case of the Cubs, Schwarber now in Washington. Josh Bell also in Washington. Nats, who were last time a full season was played, were the last one standing. You know, they're still going to have a formidable rotation. And they've added a couple big names in Schwarber and Bell.
That National League East is going to be
a bear.
Oof.
I mean, I know it was 60 games, but Miami shocked everybody last year. The Mets made several moves. We know Atlanta's really good. We know Washington's really good. Philadelphia hung on to a lot of guys. I mean, there were rumors that guys were going to end up leaving, but JT Realmuto stays put. Gregorius stays put. That is going to be one heck of a division.
And it's watching that division play out. I mean, you're looking at the NL Central. If you look at FanGraphs, which I enjoy looking at, projections for the NL Central, the winner of the division has a below 500 record in the NL Central.
Is that what they project?
Yep.
That's not going to happen. Now I'll say this, because the NL East is so congested.
And they have to play the American League East for part of their interleague play.
And they have to play the AL East. I mean, you could see a team, anytime you break 90, I think you've had a heck of a year. But you're not going to see a 97-win team in the NL East. Though if they were maybe in the Central, you could see, you know, the Braves or the Mets or the Nationals, one of those teams producing above 95 victories. But, you know, you could win that division with 88 to, 90 wins maybe. Because they will all beat up on each other. The highest projected win total in baseball, and it varies, but across the board, it's the Dodgers, not shockingly. And in all of the projections I've seen, it's well over 100 wins, 102, 103.
Well, they have the Padres around 95 to 97. And if that's the case, that gets them a wild card game.
Connor Joe.
Good job getting out of the inning for Gonzalez.
Yeah, didn't give up a run, though there was a little bit of traffic. So we'll go to the bottom of the ninth inning at Salt River Fields. Tag, you're in. Rockies and Cubs, little get-together in the desert. We've arrived at the bottom of the ninth inning. There's a couple of good Rockies fans hoping for a little rally in the ninth inning. Brett Boswell's going to lead it off. And on the mound for the Cubs is James Norwood, another guy trying to win a spot in that Cubs pen.
Well, he's had a good camp, 2 innings, 4 strikeouts. Just watching him, looks like he has high-end velocity.
.98, that's high end.
And it looks easy. I mean, so many of these players have grown so accustomed to high velocity.
Well, that was impressive coming out of the hand. On the outside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the strike zone, 1 and 2.
Yeah. 100 miles an hour. Think about this. He was drafted in the 2014 by the Cubs in the 7th round.
Think about that, right? Another triple-digit offering. I think Brett Boswell's saying to himself, that's quick.
Yeah, that's pretty fast.
And then he threw a 91-mile-an-hour slider. 1 out. Here's a young catcher, Brian Servin, getting an opportunity to swing the bat here in the 9th inning.
Told you, catchers have it the worst. Servin probably caught several pens today. Yes.
He was ready to go.
Love
Lines it to left. Double territory. And Servin will have a double. Good for him.
I love that. Catch some pens. You sit on the bench. You get to face the guy throwing 100 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and you just rip a double. I love it.
It's a former 5th rounder out of Arizona State. Stamets takes the strike.
Stamets has been in professional baseball for quite some time. Originally selected by the Angels in the 6th round, 2012.
He's kind of working at 100 now. Going back to Brian Servin at second base. Mentioned he had a great career here in town in Tempe at Arizona State. he went to Palm Desert High School in California. So when the recruiting process was taking place, he said, listen, I got to get out of the heat.
Yeah. I have family members that are from Palmdale, so I got a bunch of family members there, and Palm Desert isn't too far away.
Yeah. Which is hotter in the summer?
Here. Every spring training, my wife and I, Stacy and I, we always chat. We should move to Arizona. We come during spring training. It's beautiful. We enjoy the fall, and then we come to
microwave.
yeah, in August, take on the Diamondbacks, and you're like, nope, no, thank you.
But right now,
it's perfect.
Perfect. It's actually perfect for me in like when we come back in 2 weeks, because
it's like 85.
Yeah. You need a jacket at night in the winter months in the desert.
Well, you always say the story about Ricky Henderson in extra innings, how Ricky doesn't play extra innings. Well, Spilly doesn't do triple digits in heat. It's not.
So you're a runner now, and I'm more comfortable running here in the summer than if we're down in Florida, where the humidity's 6,000 degrees and percent and all that. 3-2 on Stamets. We actually passed each other running today.
Yeah.
I had my head down.
Yeah.
Then I let everybody know it was you.
Well, what's funny about Drew running now is he runs with a Walkman.
Come on now, I love an old yellow Walkman.
Well, you know what cassette you're listening to. My guess is like Foreigner.
Bread. I just straightened you out on that. Surprisingly, I straightened you out on a little. You were talking to somebody on the phone, and you said Sammy. What did you call Sammy Hager?
I can't. Yeah.
Butchered his last name.
Good at bat.
Yeah, real good at bat. So 2 on. Connor Joe coming up. Slider on the outside corner, strike on Connor Joe. Glad you're with us this afternoon, and we're back on the air on Saturday. Spilly, at that point in time, will be somewhere around Las Vegas, New Mexico. His trek back with his camper. How well stocked with food is the camper?
Not very. I have some like mac and cheese and some ramen noodles. So
some cheese doodles.
Yeah, I mean, like if I get stuck, my guess is I'm going to get stuck somewhere at the border of Colorado and New Mexico, and I'll just be living on the side of the road somewhere.
Well,
just make sure you honk when you see me.
Go by. Well, listen, last year, because we were at the height of the pandemic,
nice.
That's a nice piece of hitting. Line to left by Connor Joe. Stu Cole is going to send serving around. So an RBI single for Joe, and it's 8-6.
It's a nice at bat, little sinker, maybe even a changeup. You never know with Norwood. He throws so hard, but Connor Joe just drops the barrel on it. Serving, great day. 1 pitch, double, score, ice bath.
Alan Trejo getting ready to hit. So, you know, last year during the height of the pandemic, you were primarily working out of your home studio.
Yep.
And so this year, you don't know. I mean, you may work out of your camper. this year from Las Vegas, New Mexico.
New Mexico. So I told you I'll be in Grants, New Mexico tonight. And then my goal is 10 hours and beat whatever winter storm is coming to Colorado. My goal is to beat it.
My family sent out an hysterical meteorological tweet about this rapidly developing storm. And you know, one of the greatest jobs is being a weather person, because you can come back the next day, you don't even have to be accurate.
It's like an umpire.
Right. So it said 0 to 140 inches predicted for the Denver metropolitan area. And the temperature will be anywhere from 0 to 80 degrees. So that storm's going to fall somewhere in that relative category. Second and third with 2 outs.
All right, I'm in for some bizarro baseball. So a walk-off from Ryan Valade would make me so happy.
That'd be a great way to finish a Thursday afternoon. Valade bounced to third in his first AB. Getting tired, Billy. 99. Fatigue settling in.
It's amazing, right? I mean, last inning of a spring training game. Easy cheese. Just goes to show how much the game's evolved.
You know, it's crazy because right now he's thrown as many sliders, and he may be working on that, but
sure,
you know, he's thrown as many sliders as fastballs, and I'm thinking if I throw 100, I'm pretty proud of that. You're gonna get a lot of hundreds.
And Norwood has 22 innings in the major league, so you know he has some big league time, but never fully established. Last year, an inning in the third.
And there are spots available in that Cubs pen. We mentioned it earlier. Three and two. Bases are loaded for Luis Montero.
David Ross is going to the bullpen. Yeah, you're not allowed to walk off the field, Cubs. Not right now. It's
that's not allowed. Brendan Little's coming into the ball game. We're going to break. Back in a moment. Rockies trying to make it interesting in the bottom of the ninth inning. Down 8-6. They have a run across. They have the bases loaded. They're 2 outs. And a pitching change. So Brendan Little has come on. And the Rockies will send up Luis Montero, his second at bat. He will come backer last inning. A young man who just came in that Arenado trade with the Cardinals. Big, strong third baseman. So many of the, and this will be a theme throughout the year, so many of these young players who are developing in the minor leagues had it interrupted because of COVID last year and really didn't have an opportunity to play games. There's a home run cut. No baseball, 0-1.
That is a challenge, and this year minor league season has been pushed back already. We don't officially have certain start dates.
Well, they didn't, normally the minor leaguers would be here right around now, and you'd see in the latter part of March, when you go to backfields, games taking place every day. And again, they don't want the volume of players or people in the complex, around the complex at the same time. So the minor league arrivals have been pushed back till after the big leaguers leave, and therefore, as Spilly was saying, the seasons will start later.
That's a big fastball. Little was a former first rounder from the Cubs 3 years ago. Has not made his major league debut, and as we were mentioning about minor league seasons being cut short, has not pitched since 2019 because of the pandemic.
1-2 on Montero. Ooh, they said he went around. So that is how today will end. Montero held up. Rockies will fall 8-6 to the Cubs. Hitting stars today, Josh Fuentes, who joined us, and Dom Nunez, who had a towering 2-run home run for the Rockies today. Anything else jump out at you, Spilly?
Again, for me, as this team starts to formulate, there's some aspects where I like seeing the base running, the aggressive base running. I really want to see the Rockies tighten up the defense. That's been an issue so far. But I love the opportunity that we're seeing from these guys. Quality of bats, the arms look to be there. It's still early.
And one other mention offensively, C.J. Cron continues to have a big spring. He hit a couple of balls right on the screws today. Spilly, drive carefully,
I will.
drive slowly, and keep both eyes open.
One eye open.
Okay. Time to go to Mark Stout in Denver. Statter.
All right, guys, I'm going to give a shout out to the lefty, the local lefty from Legacy, Lucas Gilbert, who threw a nice inning today too. Rockies lose it by a score of 8-6. This weekend, stay safe in the Rocky Mountain region. We know that there is an impending snowstorm. We're going to have Rockies baseball on TV on Saturday. That's when we'll be on next, as the Rockies will take on the Mariners. We'll be on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Stay indoors, watch the snow, and watch Rockies spring training baseball. Monday, Dodgers game at 2 o'clock here on AT&T Sportsnet RM, and then a couple games at the end of spring training against the White Sox and the Royals. You'll see some new faces. Corey Sullivan, Jenny Kavnar are going to join the broadcast. Spilly and I will see you again in about 3 weeks when the Rockies open things up for real against the Dodgers at Coors Field. Final today, 8-6 against the Cubs. First of two that the Rocks will play against the Cubbies this season. Dom Nunez with that 415-foot homer. And I hope Josh Fuentes had a nice day today, too. And a 3-for-3 day. So Mariners-Rockies, Saturday. Make note of it. 1 o'clock. We'll be on TV then again.